Wherever you're listening in the world, it's a pleasure to welcome you to IsraelCast, the podcast powered by Jewish National Fund USA, your voice in Israel. I'm Steven Shalowitz, and on this very special edition, I'm coming to you from Kibbutz Be'eri, and I am joined now by a gentleman who is going to be showing me around, and I'd like you to introduce yourself to our listeners around the world.
My name is Rami Gold. I'm a member of the kibbutz for the last 35 years. And on that Saturday, I was outside on the fence trying to stop him from getting in. This is my story.
Right, and Rami is going to be showing us around Kibbutz Be'eri right now. And Rami, if you can just set the stage for our listeners, because we have many listeners that are really not familiar with Israel. Exactly where is Kibbutz Be'eri? How far from Gaza is it?
Well, we are located around 5 kilometers from the Gaza Strip. And we're more or less in the center of the strip, facing westwards. And it considers a relatively not too close to the fence. There are other kibbutzim who are closer, like 2 kilometers from the fence. And we're relatively far away. And on that special Saturday, they came with convoys.
Right.
On the pavement you see on the other side of the fence. They broke through the fence in the corner here, drove in, and right away started burning the houses down.
Right.
And, yeah.
And we should share with our listeners, and before we talk really in depth about what happened on that horrific day, I drove in from Tel Aviv just now. And when you drive into this area, for those that aren't familiar with this part of Israel, it is an absolutely stunning part of the country. It's farmland. It's all green. We're looking, very sadly, there are houses here that are just destroyed, and we're going to be going into them. But you look at the gardens and the flowers, and it's a beautiful, beautiful area. We're recording this in early January, and there's not a cloud in the sky. It's sunshine, and it's a beautiful area. Yet what happened on that day is just such a juxtaposition compared to this beauty in the land that we see here.
Yep. As I said, as a kibbutz, we had good relations with people from Gaza. Some of them were workers in the kibbutz till 12 years ago when it was disconnected. But we kept sending money to them because they were in poor conditions. And some of the people in the kibbutz were part of a group called Women for Peace, which were Israeli women and Palestinian women tried to do the best they could for their people. One of them was my wife's sister, and she was taken alive from her house and slaughtered on the way. And she was a person who would go to the main gates to Gaza Strip twice a week, drive sick people to hospitals in Israel back and forth on the same day. And she's not the only one. She's not the only one, but you have to understand that something has changed completely from peace-loving kibbutz to a non-one, because as far as I feel it, they won't let us live here among them. So the war we're in right now is a war for our survival. It's important that people understand that we are not doing what we're doing in Gaza Strip in order to punish them for what they did to us. It's surviving Middle East way of surviving. They need to understand that they can't kick us out of here. And I have no idea what's going to happen afterwards. I don't see peace in the near future. I see a ceasefire. Both sides are going to be exhausted, tired, lame, trying to lick their wounds, but not more than that. And as far as I'm concerned personally, since I had grandchildren in the kibbutz, I have no idea how they're going to convince them to come back, because I have no idea what's going to happen here in the future. So that's where we are right now. Usually on a interview like this, I try to tell the story on a daily basis because I couldn't see too far away forward. Now it's getting a bit better, but still, I don't see any more than a week ahead. I don't have the energy to go that far. So I need people to come here and see what they did to civilians, peace-loving people, and I am personally in the process of rebuilding the place with a group of people, and we're going to come back. We're going to rebuild this place. What we're going to see today, I'm going to show you what they did to us, and I'll tell you the stories of what our emergency squad did to try to fight them out, and then I'll show you our hopes forward. Just to give you an idea, there were 10 people in that squad.
Great.
7 of them had rifles. The other 3 didn't reach the armory on time. And there was more than 300 well-equipped terrorists here. And they were stationed, even before the houses were burned, they were stationed on rooftops as snipers. You couldn't move in the kibbutz without getting shot. And we can start.
Okay.
The main breakthrough was through this fence over here. And then on the other hand, they kept on going with pickups with heavy machine guns, shooting their way in. And 6:30 in the morning, they were already inside. And they had flamethrowers with them. And they right away started to burn the houses down. And after them came looters who came to rob everything they could from the houses. So each house will get robbed, try to convince the people to get out of their bomb shelters. And if they weren't convinced, they burn the house on them, try to smoke them out. As I'll show you later, we'll be able to see the windows they try to get out from the bomb shelters. And waiting for them, kill them or capture them. And we tried in that process to do the best we could. First of all, to survive ourselves, but to see if we can slow them, stop them. We had no idea how many were there at the time. We were scattered around the kibbutz in twins or 3 people with a low amount of ammunition, try to fight them out. They came with hand grenades, RPG, rockets, machine guns, rifles, a lot of ammunition, and they overtook the place.
And what's so glaring, again, is that people from the kibbutz had relations with people from Gaza.
We would talk on the phone on a monthly basis, usually around holidays. They would call us, we would call them. We know their kids, their grandchildren, and we believed in people. Mm-hmm. And they taught us a very strong lesson. You shouldn't trust anybody, and we'll never live with you here. And that's something that we need to comprehend, we need to understand. And just to give you an idea, we're not fighting them from revenge. In the Middle East, if you're weak, if you give the other cheek, and you're weak, it's worth fighting you. But if you're violent, if you're going a lot of force, they'll respect you. So we're not fighting a Western war here. We're fighting an Eastern war.
So Rami, we're standing now in front of what looks like was a kitchen, and there's
let's get inside.
Yeah, and let's go inside because there's a whole pile of debris that's outside here, and you said that they were sifting the debris to find body parts, right?
Yeah. think the main problem we are facing right now is a lack of a knowledge of what happened to some of the people. And I'm afraid that some of them will never know what happened to them.
Wow. So we're in the bomb shelter now, and you said some of them stayed in this room or this kind of room for 2 days without getting out.
Yeah.
Just staying in here.
You need to understand that none of us had a full idea what was happening. Each one of us was stuck in a certain spot in the kibbutz, which did the best he could at the time. I'm 70 years old, and I'm not in the squad anymore. The army decided I'm too old. They took my rifle away, but I was still in good contact with the other members of the squad. And usually after a day like this, give them a call to see if they need any help. And nobody answered me. I called 2 people that I know in the squad around probably 7 o'clock in the morning, and none of them answered me. And I was on my way, to the bomb shelter. I didn't feel like being in it. And then I got a phone call from a member from the squad, which was one of my students in the past, a good friend. And he said, we have our first casualty, and we have our first wounded members of the squad. Can you come over and help? I said, sure. Where shall I go? Go to the dental clinic. It's already a name familiar to the people who know what happened here. I got on my bike, rode through the kibbutz, not knowing there were so many terrorists here, not meeting any one of them. And I got to the clinic and said, what can I help you with? There were already first dead person in it, and 2 other friends were wounded from shrapnels from a hand grenade. I said, why don't you go bring, and the guy's name was Hagi. Why don't you bring him? I said, well, I just talked to him on the phone. I said, well, he got shot. A few magazines so I can protect myself. So I took a golf car that belongs to the kibbutz, and I drove all the way to here. And I saw an ex-general leaning against the wall here, and I asked him, where's Hagi? And Hagi, which was lying in here, left his arm. He was lying on his back here, having a hard time breathing, and he said, I got shot in my arm. I said, give me a minute. I'm gonna see forward to see who's shooting at us. I'll take you to the clinic. I got as far as the bushes over here, and we got shot like crazy. So I crawled back, asked him to give me his arms, and I pulled him over here. You can see the remains of his blood here. He was lying on his back. And he said, I can't breathe, I'm dying. And I said, look, Hagi, if you're talking, you're breathing. Give me a minute, I'm gonna turn the car back, take you to the clinic. I was backing in here to pick him up, and we started to get shelled from all over. So I got off, moved to that ex-general, and we sent a message that we're here, we can't get him out. Then I decided to give another chance, moved over here, and he was in the last minutes already, and he died. So then I understood that something different had occurred. So we walked back along the other side of this house. And what I'm telling you happened to others elsewhere in the kibbutz, members of the squad. I wasn't part of the squad, but each one of them, or small groups, try to survive and maybe even try to stop what was happening. We had no idea there were so many of them. we came from that pavement over there, walked that direction. The road was full of parking cars.
And it's quite a distance, really, when you think about it, with so many terrorists all over. I mean, it's not just running across the way.
We got as far as the road. We started to get shot from that building over there. So on the way back, we ran to hide in here. So the officer lost his cell phone. Mine, the battery died. And got as far as here.
Yeah.
And as you can see, not much you can hide from or through.
Yeah, this is all
plastic.
Plastic.
Yeah.
It's just a plastic covering underneath I guess they use it like a sukkah.
Yeah. So one of us lied in the floor in here, the other one through the window. And every time we saw somebody passing by, we took a shot. And we managed to stop quite a few of them.
You hit them.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the officer was doing the counting. He said we hit around 14 of them. 9 of them were dead around here. And they threw hand grenades at us, which some of them managed to hit us eventually. Till we got to the point that we ran out of bullets. So we decided, and by the way, I was banding myself with this was my bandage.
So we want to share with our listeners, this is a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah, I used
and
it.
It looks...
It's my blood.
It's your blood.
Yeah.
And it's all bloody right now. And it's still here from that day, from October 7th.
Yeah. So what we did, every time we shot somebody down, we went into the storage place here, because there's nothing, was able to stop the bullets from hitting us. And after a while, I couldn't sit because of the shrapnels I had. So I was standing in here, and he was lying inside. As you can see, this is a bullet that came through the window over there. And while we were standing here, he said, I'm going over to shoot somebody. And he said, he's not dead yet, but I ran out of bullets. Can you finish the job? Which I did, and I found out that I'm on my last bullet. I said, look, you take the bullet. You're a better shot than I am. And he gave me his pistol, and I was standing here, and he was lying inside. He started to get dehydrated. He wasn't feeling well. So I was using the tap here and the bottles that I found. This is one of ours, yeah. To give him some water. And all of a sudden, a rifle came in with 2 people, 2 reserve soldiers. I said, how the hell did you get here? What are you doing here? So we came to help. What do you need? Well, bullets if possible, and a cell phone so we can call our families to tell them we're still alive. And I know that it was around 11, around 10, we both got shrapnels from hand grenades that were throwing out from that building over there. And one of the reserve soldiers was a active kid, got through the window, opened the door for us, and we were able to get in to get the officers a chance to recover. We talked to the woman in a bomb shelter to tell us it's us. We opened the door, we helped her a little, and we kept on going, kind of shooting from here. And around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the army started to arrive and to survive. There were small units that came in and got hit, couldn't continue until the paratroopers arrived, and that made a difference in enough soldiers. And finally, around 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, we were able to rest. And after a while, that old woman, she's in her 90s, her grandson came over, and he said, I came to take my grandma away. I said, well, let's wait till the roads are going to be cleared so we can go out. So around 8 o'clock in the evening, that officer went, he was a reserve officer, he went to his unit, and me and a few other soldiers and the grandson took the people out of their bomb shelters. We walked to the entrance of the kibbutz, and then for the first time, I saw my grandchildren. I was able to see that they were okay, and we said goodbye. I had to go to the hospital
To get treated.
Yeah, and they were supposed to go elsewhere, but I didn't know just till a few days ago that they waited there in the entrance for 3 hours because the bus that was supposed to take them didn't get clearance to get out. I got to the hospital. I was treated, and nothing on me. So I called my youngest daughter. She was an officer in the army. She said, "I'm gonna get a cab from Beersheba for you, from Soroka, which will take us to us." So around 2 o'clock in the morning, I met the rest of my family
And where were they?
in Nes Ziona, in the center. And the following morning, we drove near Afula. You know, you're familiar with Israel? And we went in to get my sandals were torn. I had torn clothes. Some of them was bloody. So we started to get something for me. We went in to pay for the sandals. You need to understand, we sat there for 12 hours. We felt nothing. No fear, no rage, nothing. Just, we worked, killing people. Which, if you see from your point of view, sounds terrible. But that was the right thing to do, and we felt okay with it. I was numb, couldn't feel anything. But with that woman, she heard where we came from. She gave us money. That broke me completely. I couldn't accept compassion. I was able to act. I didn't allow myself to feel because I would collapse if I would feel. And that was for that part on that day, as far as I was concerned. My family are intact, beside my wife's older sister. She was killed. And I'd like, if it's okay with you, to take you to my place.
Sure.
To show you the hope.
Okay.
See the round circle with the red dot in it?
Yeah.
We lived in a utopia. My grandchildren lived 100 meters away from me. We saw each other on a daily basis. We ate together, we played together. We raised them together with the families. And I have no idea what's going to happen. How do we convince young families with kids to come back to a place that looks the way it looks today?
How many people are living here now? Or have returned?
A few dozens. Some of them, there's around, in the dining room, we eat around 300 people. And this house was burned completely with a person inside. And he spoke to them in Arabic. He was originally from Egypt, so he spoke to them, and then
It's just torched. So
most of the area here, the neighborhood here is young families with kids. A family lived over there.
with a house with the bicycle in front and the child seat in the back.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Anyway, they were taken out of the bomb shelter, which is over there, and they shot everybody. And the father was holding his crying baby, and they shot the father through the baby. They both got killed, and the mother was hurt, and I think 2 kids survived. And problem is, some families were left with 2 kids, all the others died, or some families were just parents, no kids. And this is what we're facing now, and we are trying to find a way to overcome it and relive and come back to this place. And
Rami, tell me about this house here, because looks completely firebombed.
Yeah, if you see, the whole 4 apartments were burned completely. They torched this apartment over here, which at the end burned everything. As people who lived on the top bomb shelter over there got out of the window, jumped to the ground, to survive, and they ran away. And they say because we were fighting them around here, this center was unharmed, but I have no idea.
Right.
It's.
And you said about the gentleman that was living there.
Yeah, his family from Egypt, so he knows Arabic, and he talked to them, tried to persuade him not to kill him. They laughed at him and burned him completely. And they were doped. They were, all of them. They weren't afraid of anything. They walked here, those that were owning the place.
And the looters as well. Because those
and the looters killed more people than others because they were using cold weapons. The officers was with me. His officer's mother was killed by an axe by a looter. And they were using anything they could find.
And they were civilians.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what I'm saying is the looters were just citizens. They weren't sort of part of any militia.
No, they just they couldn't care. And see, I find myself walking here through the place, not seeing the burned parts, and it looks normal. Then you see this, and you understand that.
Just completely burned.
Yeah, it'll never be the same again. But I've decided to join a group of people who are going to be irresponsible optimists, and we're going to rebuild the place.
Yeah.
And this is when I can't see my place.
Rami, we're standing in front of your house right now, so describe what we're saying.
They said that your home is your castle. So we had a bamboo fence with bushes and a gazebo full of toys for the grandchildren and a big tree standing outside, and it was burned completely. After 3 weeks, we were able to get in. We cleaned the place. This tree was cut the other day. Mm-hmm. And next week, if we come to visit again, the bamboo fence will be built again. And I live here for more than a month already. And the weekends I go back to see my grandchildren. And my wife will join me as soon as she will be able to. She's responsible of work at the hotel. Mm-hmm. And when she's ready, she'll come back and live with me. And we're not going to. There's a place they're building for us for the next 2 years till we build the place here. We're not going there. We're going to stay at home. And this is it. This is it. Just to give you an idea, my wife was alone in a bomb shelter here. They got as far as that light blue house.
Which is 2 houses next to you, I guess.
Yep, got as far as there. And they were stopped by people from the emergency squad. They were stationed on the 2nd floor over there. They shot everybody on sight on the road here, and they managed to stop them. And there were a few groups that acted the same way in different places, not knowing anything about the others. Everybody felt that they were alone. Mm-hmm. And that's the way it is. And here we are. As if you look around, it looks quiet, looks normal, almost normal. And it will be. It will be.
So talk about the future.
As I said before, we established a group of mostly older members that they say we're going to be irresponsible optimists. We're going to rebuild the place, at least the public areas, so the other families will come over, see that it doesn't look as bad as they thought, and they will think again about coming back, because most of them are trying to accumulate what happened, to understand, and hopefully they'll be able to come back. And so we're cleaning the place, we are trimming the place, cutting the trees, and hopefully, I say, I can, next year in Jerusalem, I said next year in Be'eri. And
what are you hearing from people if they want to come back?
They're changing their opinions.
Which way?
More people came back than we thought that they will. My youngest daughter was an officer in the army, so she was responsible for the kibbutz for 2 months. Mm-hmm. People in their mid-20s, and they took care of the place. And now she went back to school. And we're coming back. Every person, every family, their way, their speed, and hopefully most of them are going to come back.
Again, as I said at the top of our conversation, it is physically such a beautiful place. Not only the surrounding, but this kibbutz, the landscaping, the plants. It's absolutely stunning. It really is a paradise.
Yeah,
And I can see the appeal
You know,
and the allure of living here.
my youngest daughter said she was interviewed in a TV, and they said, "Why are you here?" You know what she said?
What?
"I lived in a paradise. I want to rebuild it." And she's in her mid-20s.
So, Rami, thank you for showing us Kibbutz Be'eri, and you're hopeful for the future.
As I said before, I'm going to re-say it. First of all, the brave people that we have on an emergency squad. Kibbutz Be'eri is a stable, strong community, and we're coming back to rebuild the place.
All right.
And the rest of it is... And I want to thank you for coming over, because I believe you're going to pass the knowledge and information, and it's something that needs to be done about what happened here.
Right, and we thank you.
Once again, that was Rami Goldstein from Kibbutz Be'eri. We do hope you enjoyed this special episode of IsraelCast. We do release new episodes of the show every other Wednesday. And just so you never miss an episode, subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Simply search for IsraelCast. Or you can always enjoy the show by visiting us at our website. It's jnf.org/IsraelCast. And for behind-the-scenes work, we want to thank Vivian Grossman, Dara Shapiro, J.D. Krebs, and Ellie Kodrin. Our editors are Jay Rothman and James Casada from Miratone Studios in the very heart of New York City. Now, IsraelCast is powered by Jewish National Fund USA, your voice in Israel. For more information about JNF USA, do visit jnf.org. And if you'd like to write to us, we'd love to hear from you. Our email address is israelcast@jnf.org. Once again, israelcast@jnf.org. Meantime, I'm Steven Shalowitz. Thank you for tuning in and looking forward to having you join us on future